YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. 9 games on today's slate, Saturday, November 20th. Last night, we went 2-2. Not the best. Lost a little bit of cheese off the top. Not much because we did go 2-2. But, I wish we had a couple more of our plays that we said were leans in the video. That would have been nice because a couple of those cash and ones that I was like inches away from placing and making final, I was like, you know what? Let's stick away from that for tonight. Of course, like 3 of those hit. So whatever. If they weren't on the ticket, I can't claim them as wins or anything like that. Same way it works, vice versa. So can't be too mad about it. But we did go 2-2 last night, bringing our against the spread record this year to 54-49, which is really just hovering right around that sort of 500 mark. We're only a 52.5% win rate right now, which isn't terrible. But I want it to be a lot better here. So let's try and improve upon that tonight. We got 9 games, like I said, on the slate. Guys, make sure to stick around to the end of the video for the shout-out. I love that we're doing that right now. You got to watch all the way till the end to figure out the hashtag of the day and then give me your lock. And then the next video, you guys get a shout-out if you hit your lock there. So make sure to stick around for that. And as always, keep an eye on the pinned comment. I'm going to go through all the games here, give you guys my initial sort of read and my initial lean and whatnot. But my official plays will be in the pinned comment as always, so make sure to keep an eye on that. But let's jump right in here. We have the Knicks hosting the Houston Rockets. The Knicks are giving 11.5 points here. The total is 213.5. Knicks 8-7 overall, 7-8 against the spread. The Rockets 1-14 overall and 5-9-1 against the spread. So this is a big number. 11.5 is a huge number, but I do like the Knicks in this one. One, because the Rockets seemingly have just given up on basketball. Like, I could say that. And the Knicks are coming off a bad loss to Orlando. I think they come out with a little bit of a revenge game type of here, but it's not like a revenge against the Rockets. It's just a revenge against themselves. Like, they need to prove it to themselves. So you guys know, if you watch every day, I hate laying double-digit spreads. 11.5 is like my worst nightmare, but this is sort of a unique situation in where I think the Knicks do come out and absolutely pummel this Rockets team. At least I hope so. So I'm going to be leaning Knicks minus 11.5 here because they did just lose to the Rockets. They're at the Garden, and this Rockets team, they just lost to the Magic. They're at the Garden, and this Rockets team is just god-awful. So leaning Knicks minus 11.5. I hate to lay that number, but I think we're going to do it. So keep an eye on the pinned comment there for all my final plays. That one might be making the ticket. Next up, we have the Wizards hosting the Heat. These two teams just played each other. Miami absolutely took the reins in that game and pummeled Washington. Both these teams are very good teams, which is so weird. That's not surprising to say about the Miami Heat, but the Washington Wizards are 10-5 this year. They're 9-6 against the spread. The spread for tonight's game is Washington, a home dog of 1 point. So we have Miami -1 on the road, and I like that number. It's all going to come down to injuries, though. On the Miami side of things, Bam Adebayo is questionable and Tyler Hero is questionable. On the Washington side of things, you have a few guys that have been injured are out indefinitely here. You have Bertans out indefinitely. Bryant was just downgraded to out, and Hachimura is out, and Daniel Gafford is questionable. It's going to come down to that Miami side of the injuries. Are these guys going to play or not? I know some teams might be like, Miami won the first one. It's obvious that Washington's going to go and win the second one, right? I don't know if I buy into that. I think Miami is a way better team than this Washington team, but these guys that are questionable need to play for that to happen. So I'm going to lean Miami -1 here, but I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on that injury report. Even if one of those guys is out, this either becomes a Washington game for me or a non-play at all. So keep an eye on that injury report and keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what I end up doing here. Next up, we have the Pacers hosting the Pelicans. Pacers 7-point favorites here. Total's 208.5. Both these teams coming off of a back-to-back, so I wouldn't put too much stock into either side having to deal with a back-to-back here. Devontae Graham is questionable for the Pelicans, and no new injuries for Indiana. Indiana's lost 3 in a row. The Pelicans are coming off a big win last night against the Clippers. I like Indiana in this spot. Yes, 7 points maybe is a 1.5 or 2 points too high for me to give New Orleans, but, sometimes you got to roll the dice, and this is an educated dice roll. I think Indiana -7 is going to be on the ticket tonight. Just check the pinned comment for my confirmed pick there, but I'm definitely not taking Pelicans, so this is going to be Pacers or nothing for me, and I honestly think that spread, I would have loved it if it was like 6 or 5.5, which, that can make a huge difference, 5.5, but I probably would take this up until 7.5, just because this Pelicans team really isn't that great, and they're coming off of a decent win, so I'm going to go Pacers here, -7. Next up, a great game. I think this is going to be a very good game. Hawks hosting the Hornets. Hawks at home, I should note, because everybody knows this Hawks team is two different teams. They're like the Pigeons on the road, but then they're the Hawks when they're home. So the Hawks giving 6.5 points here. Totals 227. The Hornets just coming off of that game last night, a win against Indiana, high-scoring one, which we were on the wrong side of, I can admit that. No crucial injuries here. I think Hunter's still out for Hunter's still out for the Hawks, and Washington's still out for the Hornets. But that 6.5 point number, I think that might be too much to give the Hornets. If this was not a back-to-back type night for the Hornets, I might be leaning Charlotte plus 6.5 here, but it is a back-to-back, so it makes me want to lean, and I think I am going to lean Hawks minus 6.5. I wish we could get a better number, like 5.5 or something, but this Hawks team at home, just to give you guys some numbers here, they're 6-1 against the spread at home. They're 6-1 straight up straight up at home as well, and they are 0-9 against the spread away. So again, they're the Pigeons on the road. Remember that, you gamblers out there. The Pigeons on the road, but they're the Atlanta Hawks at home. So I am going to be leaning Atlanta minus 6.5 because they're home and because Charlotte is on the second night of a back-to-back here. All right, next up, we have the Boston Celtics. My Boston Celtics just took down the Lakers. Let's go. Hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. Boston's 10-point favorites. Totals 207. I don't like the 10-point number here. This Thunder team, for whatever reason, is a decent against the spread team, and don't you guys forget it. Actually, stay tuned for the shout-out, because that was one of the picks that someone gave, so towards the end of the video, we'll shout that out, but I can't lay 10 points here as the Celtics. I love the Celtics. I got Celtics bobbleheads. I got, Celtics decorated room here. I can't lay 10 points. Can they do that? Sure. Maybe the Celtics will turn the corner after beating the Lakers by 20 million thousand points, but I will say that's a huge number for me. I'm not going to be laying that against the Thunder. It's Celtics or nothing for me because I'm not going to bet against my home team. I keep it transparent with you guys. You might not be looking for that in terms of advice, but that's the truth. Like, I'm not going to bet against the Celtics, so this is just a tough spot for me. I'm probably going to be passing on this game and just watching as a fan. I know, not very good advice, but what do you want me to do? Make up a pick so we have a pick for the content? I don't do that. Next up, we have the T-Wolves taking on the Grizzlies, and this one, I don't really get it. A few injuries on Memphis' side of things, couple injuries on Minnesota's as well, but Minnesota 2.5-point favorites against Memphis here, and these teams, it still bugs me that Minnesota, when they're at home, for whatever reason, Vegas gives them these lines. Like, I'm smashing Memphis. Am I missing something here? Am I absolutely blind and missing something here? Because I'm taking Memphis plus 2.5 on the road all day long. This spread should be the opposite. I think Memphis should be 3-point favorites over this Minnesota team. So, yeah, I'm running to my book to place that in. Like I said, they do have some injuries. Brooks, Melton, and Merrill, so I guess those first two are probably ones that you want to note, are out. But it's not like, you're missing Ja Morant. Like, those aren't crucial injuries to me. I know Brooks and Melton do contribute to this team, so maybe that's why the line is spread. But this line, it's like, does Vegas know something I don't know? Because I'm all over Memphis 2.5 here, getting 2.5 points. So that's probably going to be on my ticket. And maybe maybe you guys in the comments, let me know if there's something I'm missing here. Maybe that's a dumb play, but I think that this line should definitely be flipped. I don't see why Minnesota's getting so much respect at home here. Like, Minnesota's coming off a couple wins there. So is Memphis. I just don't get it. I don't get it, but I'm going to be rolling with Memphis. So for what it's worth, let me know in the comments down below if I'm missing something here and why Minnesota's favorited here. Next up, we have the Bucks. Second night of a back-to-back. I want to note that against the Magic. The Bucks are 11-point favorites here at home. The total's 215.5. No major injuries here. Brook Lopez still out. Rodney Hood's questionable for Milwaukee. Then we have Etuan Moore, Michael Carter-Williams, both questionable on the Orlando side of things. That's just too big of a number. Like, the Bucks can easily do that, but I'd be looking at some player props within this game because I think some of these Bucks guys can probably put up some numbers against a Magic team. So keep an eye on the pinned comment for that. We hit Giannis's total PRA last night. Shout out to Calling Our Shot. We had that in our mind. I don't know if you guys know Calling Our Shot's channel, but you definitely should. We had Giannis's points, rebounds, and assists combined in our mind, and then I watched his video and I was like, all right, if he's doing it, I'm gonna lay it down. So we did it and cashed that one easily. So keep an eye on the pinned comment for any player props within this, but I don't love an 11-point spread. You guys know that. And I'm definitely not going to be taking Orlando on the road against the Bucks. So it's going to be Milwaukee or nothing for me, but it's going to be pretty tough for me to end up laying that on the ticket. Blazers taking on the Sixers here. Blazers at home. They're 6-point favorites. And, you know, with these injuries, Joel Embiid out. Ben Simmons obviously still out. Danny Green now out. Thibault is questionable. I still think, and I honestly think you just still bet against the Sixers lately. I know that they just beat, was it Denver a couple nights ago, but this is just not the same team without Joel Embiid, and that shouldn't be breaking any news to anybody. This spread right here, I wish it was a little bit smaller, but 6-point favorites to Portland, who seemingly has started to turn things on here. They've won a couple in a row and won 3 out of their last 4, and 2 of those wins are pretty big wins in Chicago and against Toronto there. So I'm going to be leaning Portland Trail Blazers here, -6. The Sixers, yes, they still have a few guys that are playing well. Maxey, Seth Curry, you know, Tobias Harris. They do still have guys and very strong NBA players. But to me, without Embiid, this team is sort of like it's inconsistent as it gets. So I'm going to be leaning Blazers here. I don't know if it makes the final tickets, but that is my lean. Last game of the night, we have the Sacramento Kings hosting the Utah Jazz. The Kings are home dogs here. We have +8 on the board, and I don't know. I mean, I love the Jazz this year. They have been a team that we've cashed on plenty. This Kings team looks like they may actually be sliding. They've lost 6 out of their last 7 games, and to some teams that they really, really should be beating, if I'm being completely honest, and they're getting pummeled by these teams. So I would obviously just lean the Jazz here. -8 is a big number, but we can lean it. The Jazz are a positive team against the spread when they're away, and the Kings, surprisingly enough, are a better against the spread team when they're away than when they're at home. But they're at home tonight, so I'm going to be leaning the Jazz -8. I want to see which way that line moves, but I do like the Jazz -8 here. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our picks for tonight. Again, keep an eye on the pinned comment for any player prop additions or anything like that, or any sort of way to confirm that these are our picks for tonight. It's going to be in the pinned comment there, but we got to give our shout out where it is due. So yesterday's hashtag of the day was bounce back, and Tion Whiting, don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, I might be botching that, but he says hashtag bounce back. Durant is out. Take Orlando +12.5 and take OKC +13.5. 2 dogs on the board for Tion here, and he hit them both. So shout out for the hashtag there. Today's hashtag is going to be, we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to go hashtag Saturday. If you drop your hashtag Saturday in the comments and then give me your lock of the night or multiple locks, we are going to choose winners at random here, and you guys get a shout out in the next video. So hashtag Saturday. Did I say that right? Hashtag Saturday. Give me your lock in the comments, and you guys might be shouted out in the next video, just like Tion was today. But without further ado, guys, let's make some money tonight. Everyone, good luck. Keep an eye on the pinned comment for my final plays, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.